First of all, I want to say before I start this video recording, oh, I gotta record it, guys. Um, my power went out. Okay, my dad's a veteran. Yep, and retired. And I spent my whole entire day, like, and tonight, like my first day off. Like, what's it? Once I got out of bed or something, I forgot when the power went out. It went out most of the night. Like once it hit like 5:40 p.m. I was up and around doing chores. The moment it hit 5:40 p.m., the power went out even before the storm struck, and it obviously took down lines around the area to where it could take out the power in my area also, because it took out the power in the town. And supposedly, I'm like, our internet line is also running, is so powerful it's running our electricity in the house or something. And I had to start a generator, and then the garden got crushed. I had pictures of it. I'll probably send it on YouTube so everyone can see those pictures. I wish that YouTube would let you have like little links to your video, so it like just pops up on the side of your daily communities, as long as it's not threatening or harming or avoiding any policies, pictures, follow guidelines. Um, but yeah, I did all that for my dad, and just figure that's my title. You can't change anything about me that will make me do better for someone else. And why am I starting a video like that? Because I watched this asmongold, and Destiny goes on to this. I don't know. It's always a Canadian that has an opinion about the United States. It's not a United States citizen who's around the United States people. Because obviously, like say, what I mentioned in this comment, you have these two people disagreeing with each other by the extreme, and then you have people who just disagree by not agreeing to anybody, but agree to disagree kind of scenario. So I think that's everyone that's a content creator, YouTube, Twitch. I think people have gone more towards Kick, who are more right, maybe right leaning, and there is still a lot of red pills on it. Like I said, red pills is not always a great thing. Have you seen some of my videos on how I talk about my life? Not so much witnessing it, but how I talk about like I've landed on my head, got an injury, several times from like contact sports in between landing on my head. I'm even had like a little blurry vision this morning after because I had like maybe a very skip and leap sleep schedule, so I was sleeping off and on after doing all the yard work, cleaning up the damage done from the power outage. Um, so, yeah. So let's bring it up. So 42, he starts saying something about Donald Trump's gonna run concentration camps and stuff just because he says it. Okay, he says it out of his mouth. Now we already in America already know what, like, if you're a United States citizen, you know that concentration camps are run by like more like probably federal agents today or something, or governments that want to homestead governments. And it's funny because he sticks up, obviously because he's probably maybe got more of a beard than me. I have a hard time growing a beard. Uh, let's see, let's see what he looks like. Yep, yep. He sticks up for the average liberal appearance, and they're very emasculate, strong. They're the bigger fish. They're the bigger population a lot of time. Hey, they might get majority of the votes still. Who knows? Who cares? Supposedly, Donald Trump's gonna win no matter what, because the shootout occurred, and he's the only one going to court. And then they give Joe Biden's, and they both do the same thing in a way. Like, in the United States, they don't ever really change the laws that much, and it's based on, because, like I said, you have homestead governments, you have an official federal agent government, and you have people on the side trying to complain about what these individual groups do, like as a president or as a citizen of the state. And I wrote in 42 minutes. Like, I noticed Destiny started echo chambering like really hardcore. Like, this is things I deal with when I talk to like my brother and my dad's talking to politics. He'll try to echo chamber over us because he's a bigger fish. My brother is. He's got a better paying job, and he's got all these insecurities about the world, but he doesn't want to stick up for anyone else's point of view on what to do politically. But he has a problem with. I think he hurt him because like the whole entire state is nominating Trump no matter what. The whole entire state is. There's several states out there that are nominating Trump, but some odd reason we still have the person in the White House who's gonna probably go for, well, your health insurance is more important than your health, and your vaccines are more important than your health. And these are from people who sit like Joe Biden, sit in the house all day. He sits in the White House all day, just like computers, YouTubers, and Twitch streamers and Kick streamers sit in their house and have opinions about people that are healthy versus me. I'm slightly curved from it. Like I said, I spend outdoors all day long. I have to go to an 8-hour job. I have to clean up after myself after cleaning up other people's messes. Uh that's on the job and off the job, just to fit in, like, micromanage myself. So the more I want to accomplish life, and then there's obviously, asmongold's like, hey, why do you even work? He's got that liberal influence. If you don't like work or you complain about, you say one thing about work, you're not allowed to say anything about work or any experience of work outside the job environment. And we should just make them go after the government. There you go, liberal mindset. Go after the government. That's already a homestead government, mostly. And half is federal government. So there's no such thing as a government as a whole, because obviously you've seen in the videos like Donald Trump had a slasher of a moment where a bullet buzzed by him. He got a buzz, and I've heard bullets buzz by him before. And he gets nearly struck down by the bullet, and it's like this funny because it's what you see on the internet. Well, people will attack you over, and what versus what people are already doing. We already have concentration camps in the United States. We already have like an ICE facility, and Donald Trump and Melania Trump both went to it, knowing after he got not elected, and then liberals turned their backs like, oh, I don't want to see this because this is an ICE facility built by federal governments that they want to move more government branches in, like a homestead government and a federal government. So basically, they want to unionize more governments over people who already work for things. You barely get a paycheck to get by, and that paycheck is say you live in a state where it's the only thing around you that's inhabitable is a working facility, and it controls 30% of the population, migration of the population, to bring in enough of those resources to feed multiple township areas. So they have a chain of sales that goes up and down. Okay? And then you say, hey, I don't want to go to the federal government because I'm going to have to live off of $20,000 a year. And once I get a job, I make even $10,000. They'll cut me from that because that's based on a percentage of job economies inside a living inhabitants. So obviously you cannot argue with someone and say, oh, we'll just take down the job community, people working for people, because I like I said, I've worked for a third of a population building that covers multiple areas, and then they move, and it's every job you get, they have a third of the population take over, so you go in and then circulate that flow of influx of sales, and then you get money back for migrating yourself there, for inhabiting the area, helping the sales produce, and you relate to everything you're doing is a penny to get the job to go faster. Now this has awfully nothing to do about the video, but I'm just talking about my opinion as a political perspective, being between people. I'm not one political side. This is where I think no matter what president is, you're between people. You're between a homestead government. You're between a federal government. You're not actually owning the agency. You're just telling people what's going to go down every year most time, and how people are going to respond to that person telling them what's going to go down here is going to affect the overall growth of the population. Obviously, you have mumbling and grumbling is normal for liberals and echo chambers. So if you have a mumbling and grumbler in the White House, and I've seen it a lot with a lot of people, mumble grumbles, they think they get everything done, they accomplish everything, they're the overall exceeders, because they're a big fish, they get paid a bit more money, or they're in a bigger school of fish population. And then when someone overthrows that ecological system that they've created, they become hostile. Like I have Cortez, who's like, say, go after all the brown hair people because someone like this hair color, like sometimes even blonde, curly blonde, blue eyes. Goes and don't attack this guy. He's probably got an amazing career goal for him. And as see, you notice something. This guy's not with liberal sides, but he has the same hair color. So you notice something. There's your example of homestead government and in the federal government setting, like who is really governing you today, really in society, and it's like just your overall mindset's being governed by what you think about online and what you're allowed to say. And here we go again. We have these people. I'm not gonna click on this video. You have the asmongold link. You have obviously these two people are famous stuff. They're gonna have channel feed. I just wanted to show my opinion because I'm a foreigner if I don't have the same exact relevance of people, and I should be segregated by them because I'm a drug dealer. But you know that's a hypocritical echo chamber installed. So if I see someone doing drug dealing, and I see someone doing smuggling, stalking people on the streets, I'm gonna find ways to be closer to the smaller township, and that's what I've done for most of my life because I've felt unsafe going to bigger city areas and want to work for bigger populations. Because if one person does like it, these two are a perfect example, maybe, of like completely not agreeing with each other and completely on an execution plot. And I've actually been almost in a situation like Donald Trump because I was bragging on the internet about running fast marathons and exercising a lot and going to work, being dedicated. An elite is to be dedicated to something. Like I was actually qualified and coming close to qualify for elites, and I could run a 1 minute mile, and my family was cheering me on. And then somebody had links when Facebook's security system was very open to anyone seeing what you say, had links to other people who were not even friends with me or even friends of those families, just being jealous I got views up on Facebook. So that's why I say don't cater to Facebook, because they have griefers on there. They have a griefing culture. Some people actually know in person that grief a lot, and then they manipulate and change your words around. They don't, they don't come over there and see, hey, buddy, how's your day going? They echo chamber over it, like this guy does. He echo chambers over what you're going through, so he makes it more relevant. Like, oh, we already have concentration ice camps in our country. Just they're gonna make them more. Maybe they'll make them more American. Stop trying to bring the camps inside American enclosure areas. What you're doing now is trying to drop them off in rural areas, metro areas where people are easy to influx to walk on the streets, and then go into these little camps where there's just trash everywhere. There's trash all the way out to the streets from the inside of the concentration camp in the United States. Yep, that kind of scenario I'm dealing with in real life. I've noticed when I go visit states on sporting events occasions, I've been dropped off at like homeless streets, shelter streets, lined up, and it'd be the biggest the state I'm in now, the biggest city area, the most overpopulated area, and you could walk for a whole entire 2 miles worth of homeless people. But liberals say they done everything for people today based on a governing a homestead and a federal government. They want more governments, okay? They don't want you to be a citizen. They want you to be government. So obviously them complaining about there being segregation camps or something, and Donald Trump's going to use them, and we already have them from the liberal mindset, a ice camp or a homeless shelter all the way down the streets, because they want to cut the job system of minimum wage people. They don't exist. And then when the federal government collects a lot of money, I've told people the man body is worth $400 million. I think every man who is born who's going to have to work 8 hours or a part-time job, no matter what, is worth $400 million, because at the end of the day, the man has to go to the court more often. The man, if he gets charged with a felony, his felony is more increased if it's just talking to someone over there now. And that's why I won't go to city areas. A man has to, provide for a female, even if she's going to spit in your food, invite friends over to the party at your house, drink, provide for a female body of group females. Obviously, you can't just provide for your one your wife might bring over people and then drink and party, or if she doesn't get that opportunity, she'll go out to party clubs and then come back and spit in your food and say you're wasting time not doing dishes in the house. She'll mock you based on what she promised she would offer you. So when both a liberal and a Republican get together, whether it's a guy or a girl, because I think guys are the same way too as a liberal. Guys and girls are both equal. You'll probably have a guy the same way. He's going to bench off the girl's house. He's a liberal guy. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't have. He might have a social funding over the internet if he's famous. He doesn't want to share that with somebody. That's going to be the same thing the girl does. Is they're going to keep the funding secret. There's a lot of federal and homestead government things going on. People bringing in social funders who don't want to have kids together, but they want to tell everyone to be on the blue birth control mindset, and that makes your body more free. You're more human because of that. Because that's what most of these jobs do. Is they already own you on a segregated concentration camp level, to where if you go to a job, and majority of jobs that are 30% of the 30 everywhere, for every kind of job you get hired at, you're gonna be hired based on, they don't want you to have kids. They want you to tell people what dress code you have. Oh, it's hair coloring's great because it symbolizes who you are as a beautiful person. They let hair coloring be in there. They'll let tattoos slide sometimes, as long as you have a good majority of the offensive ones covered up. There's a lot of things like that in a homestead slash federal owned government population. So 42, I love it when, this is what I said, I love it when it's about the bigger fish going after this at the smaller fish tactics. Destiny's complaining point of view, mentioning he's not caring about anyone, attacking the president, and then having a problem. Someone saying on what someone's saying. Okay, on what someone's saying, they liked changed. Okay, I stumbled. I obviously reread what I said. He has a problem with what people say, but he always is okay with a violent action and it going down already. He's okay with it. It doesn't make it fine. He's okay with it. He obviously explains in this video. But that's my thing. Like, when I moved to a smaller township, I was more relevant to people. So if I had a tracking device on me, like, people were like, "Oh no," he was complaining about the vaccine and Republicans not taking it. First of all, I took the flu vaccine when I was severely injured and going through severely sick stage, and I was in sports, so I didn't like the overall energy people are doing in schools when I first left school. So I took a break from sports altogether and got a job instead. And that job didn't have enough workers on head, so that kept me with that job longer. And that's the only reason why I could stay in a job longer than everyone else, because I started at a young age, all the way up to adult. And I got away from sporting events who were already concentration camp kind of which vaccine you're supposed to take to qualify for this sport now. It's no longer this person's more healthy outdoors than this person indoors talking about vaccines. It's this person's allowed to talk about vaccines to everyone, who's more of a sitter off of everyone. He's sitting everybody. He wants to treat them like their child and they're sitting them all the time. And say he's like, "Oh no, they're conspirator about being tracked." When I use a tracking device in a small town and cops can see that tracking device, authorities, and then people want to cop off me, they want to cop attack me, which is going to be in this paragraph soon. They want to say, "Hey, we're going to attack you based on, we don't like you have your brown hair, your brown eyes, and you like exercising outdoors, huh? Sounds like Germany." And then there's liberal German worshippers in my area that are localizers, and they have more money because they're the bigger fish, the bigger population. There's a good percentage that have been really quiet. They don't even wear a Joe Biden hat. All these people are wearing Donald Trump based on he's going to be between a homestead government and a federal government. Thanks to people like Destiny, and thanks to people like asmongold, thanks to people like this news reporter. Thank you for already existing. You have an opinion. You're part of our second, what was it, the amending of freedom of speech. Here, let's see. I'm gonna bring it up since I sound like an idiot right now, rambling and ranting and yapping. Okay, freedom of speech amendment. The First Amendment. Obviously, I was going to stumble on it being the second, but I always said the first in my head. I didn't say that loud, but there you go. First Amendment. There you go. I fixed what I was gonna say. First Amendment. They're expressing freedom of speech, and I'm thanking them. And I don't have a problem, and I don't think anyone should attack them over that opinion. I'm in an influx of like, why is someone being shot at, and who's gonna be between this governing branch is gonna sit in between these kind of people, like these three groups of people, these pigeon heads, and not know who's an imposter at the end of the day. And he's gonna keep on promising the imposters everything they want, the human imposters, the influx, the bigger fish. And the bigger fish sometimes is both of us, and no matter which side we're on. But like I said, I go to town. I have family members who are authorities in the area. I don't say their names because I don't want to disclose their names. But I know I'm related to a good percentage of the population because my family tree started all the way up from one point of the area and moved itself down, and it lives in the majority of the United States because a lot of my family was um, indigenous of the area before a lot of people moved in. They were Norwegian and wanted peace loving, wanted to be hippie cultures, and wanted to sell drugs. And then say it's the brown haired Mexican selling the drugs. It's not the, it's not the blonde haired curly 0.1 African, Roman, Italian selling drugs. Because I remember this one guy told me he went overseas to fight in the World War II, came back, and his brother was worshiping Nazis, who kicked him out of the house because he paid for the house. And then he found his brother turned it into a white culture, and they were both Italian. And the one Italian guy had a problem with it because he almost died for this country, versus his brother was going to sell him off for a liberal white worshiping culture. And I don't worship my own whiteness, but I've had people come to me say, "Oh, it's a white guy, so let's scream white power when he's running in a sporting event," because Asians like doing it, like worshiping the white cultures and making them creative looking, no matter how much it might harm someone else's society. They're gonna make that a hero. They're gonna make that no more heroes logic and make it a hero every time. Um, no one wants heroes. For example, I met a girl at my age or younger. Yeah, where's that calling the authorities on me because the liberals and because they are liberals and they don't like my small man appearance. So yeah, small guy appearance is if you're small, brown hair, brown eyes. They want to know there's a population control. They have birth controls on it. Protect in an echo chamber when those guys go to speak, especially. Um, so you're just a number to them. So I'm not like any of these guys that have a name brand. I'm just a number to people. I just talked about a job like it's bad, but I'm just a number to all together. So it's not going to really affect them if they want to run a homestead government or a federal agent government more and more. It's not going to affect them. When I'm related to them, yeah, I'm related to the authorities. I'm related to the authorities, it says right there. I put like little index markers when I'm related to the authorities in the area. So not only do I let someone track me, and there could be people around the world tracking my pace where I'm running every time. I'm on my lunch break, so I take a clock out lunch break. I go running and jog 5 miles or more. I'll have a tracker on me, and then someone will call up, "Hey, he's stalking me around town. He's um." And they'll try to play the cops like they're saying what they're saying is the truth, and then they're lying out their back and their hind end all the way to their teeth. They're using their hind end to speak. They're not using their mouth or their brain to speak. They're just speaking out the hind end of their opinion. So whenever it's cops, try to play the all the time, over and over again, trying to dox me. Yep, dox me, because that's a thing in culture. They're offended of concentration camps, but they love doxing. They hate that. Like Elon Musk went on the channel because I had people talking to me that were like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" They're pro doxers, and immediately they stopped talking to me once they said, "We'll ban you from the channel if you use doxing to go after somebody," because I knew I was a public figure and I was related to the cops in a small town, so that's the only reason I don't stick my head out to big cities. Smaller groups dox me when they're the bigger group of fish and I'm the smaller group. And then I vote on someone who's going to do the same thing to them. Yeah, so you like doing these things and you're not pro-American. Somebody's going to eventually come back around and do the same thing to you. Use the same kind of energy. Hey, maybe they'll have a talking class, a correctional class, because they already have it in Canada. All these people are Canada people want to talk about our opinions as Americans, but they already have a correctional facility for people, and have a problem with concentration facilities that they already create in the United States that are ICE camps, and that are homestead and federal governments based on the population of buildings that you work in. They have okay with treating like a number and having different opinions about you, and you having zero opinions to them. Otherwise, they'll throw you in an echo chamber. They go for an echo chamber over their large group is all of a sudden victim of group larger group of victims all of a sudden. Yeah, so large group of victims. So I read that a little funny. I keep on reading things funny. This is gonna make my head hurt. Even though I used a phone to track me when I know they're using misfortune to attack me and play cops. So I use a phone to track me so everyone can see what I'm doing. I go to sporting events, everyone can see what I'm doing. And I go to a job, I'm a number at that job. Everyone can see what I'm doing, but I relate to myself to a number of sophistication to their standards. I don't relate myself to as a human being to them. So that's my version of I'm realizing I'm being segregated. I'm being in a concentration camp when I work. So they're okay with those American concentration camps, but they have a problem with these other encampments that are being closed off from us. They're not caring about there's already a concentration system in our country, and presidents run off of it based on the homestead and the governing federal government uh, population that they're between the federal and the homestead governments. They're not between their own opinion. They have to influx those opinions every time. Yeah, so running apps, tracking apps, they think I'm afraid of a chip when I'm more afraid of someone using my genes to attack me. They're going to tell me I'm a toxin because they're a localizer and they have a facility job. They're bigger fish. And there's proof that you can go on the internet, type in doctor hospitals that are exploiting people from their standards. And that's a form of a concentration camp when you do that. And they'll exploit your identity. They'll go after looking up if you have information online about you and use as a fact and not use actual authorities' information. The authority index file of it was open because I don't have an open file. I have people making rumors about me, and then you have people who have rumors that own these jobs. So those are homestead government systems that work with federal systems. Tell anyone I'm stalking them and invading the home because my hair is brown and my eyes are brown. Make me look like a Mexican foreigner to them, because if you're around a bunch of liberals, Roman, Italian, glowing blonde hair, blue eyes, and you're on both the Republican and Democrat side, and you're not speaking from a homestead and a federal government mindset, you obviously don't understand what the people that are suffering are going through suffering, and especially when you laugh about bullets whizzing by them and use that for content to be a cruel, insightful individual, and then you go and argue with people on the internet about, oh, you can't make him president now. He's gonna put himself there. That's like me wanting to put myself on death row after girls exploiting me at 12 years old. And then I turned 20 and I was watching my sister's kid instead of using trauma. I'd watch my sister's kid and he'd be a blonde-haired, blue-eyes boy, and I'd be carrying him around all day long while my sister's out making out with boyfriends and working a 14-hour factory job, and I got a part-time job. So I'm barely skimming by, and I don't ask her money. I give her money and go take a hike when I feel like I need the space, and I'm barely eating food, and I go to get a gym membership, and I have body disparities. So I know what my health benefits are, but these people want to tell you that they're trying to help you out, even though I've been laughed at and mocked on the streets from all these groups of people. Probably even a Republican. A Republican will see I'm small and be like, small, scrawny guy. Oh my goodness, that's so offensive. We have role models that are smaller than me in society, even though I picked up a 500 pounds worth of watermelons one day in front of everybody and nearly lifted off the ground with my little fork arms. Because I moved thousands of pounds around my whole entire life. I hardly get to take breaks. I went to school. I took a break one time, and I took a break from the sporting system because they wanted to tell you what to do. They were normalizing, and the guy liked the Democratic majority groups. He didn't care about if they were going to be owned by a homestead or a federal government system, or they're going to try and increase that federal homestead government system is really aggressive and radical to everybody. It's not benefiting you on money. It's a unionized corporation who wants money in their pockets. The more they get your account, and they get more money in for advertising their stuff online. They don't get paid to actually socialize with people as much as they like to claim. You join their community, socializing. You're just working for them. You don't actually have an actual opinion over anyone. It's like that Rick and Morty episode to me when the localizers will tell them that they're toxic when they go into the spa and poison them, attacking their genes. That's what I think about. Someone saying, I need a vax and I'm toxic to anyone. Ta-da! People that are in their house telling me I'm toxic and they want me to take a vaccine to cure my genes. I'm going to assume they're trying to poison me because I've already have health benefits. Like same with these energy drinks. Oh, you're more energetic if you take this energy. And by the way, I have took a drink supplement this morning, Nate, and it's bolting up hills. But if they have a problem with that, they're gonna tell me I'm more toxic no matter what. They're gonna echo chamber I'm toxic. They're gonna say I need some medical checkup. Like my vision is kind of getting better now already with me just being active and socializing before I go to work. And poison their attack their genes. I think about this. Someone saying I need to take a vax and I'm toxic to anyone. I lift thousands of pounds per week over someone who lives in their house wants to tell me. Oh shoot, I don't want to read everyone else's comments. Okay. I lift thousands of pounds per week. Okay, I've lifted like 7,000 pounds, 14,000 pounds per week at a job over someone who wants to tell me that their house, yeah, how to so over someone who lives in their house wants to tell me what's healthy for me. Okay, yeah, there's lots of people on the internet who, yes, used to work in a computer company, got a college degree, maybe got a private college degree, a private schooling system. They've never been around society to know how germs work, but yet every germ in your body doesn't matter anymore. You have zero germs in your body, which is you have a negative and a positive factor. You cut out all the germs in your body. It's like zeroing out your body fat, which I've also done in sports, and just the simple fact of having a minimal wage part-time job and went to a liberal area where it was owned by homestead and federal governments who had a problem with me working at the job, so they started cutting out my hours even I showed up at work, and they started saying, oh, because you shoveled snow in your driveway to get to work and you were late, we're upset with you and you're a waste of our economy's money, you harm us. Even though they move in the segregation kind of concentration facilities from ICE, to live on the streets and not have an ambition or a mentality in life. You know, you're only allowed to be in a benching off the seat. You're not allowed to be running around exercising, or they'll call you a stalker. You attack them, and then when they use the same tactics to go after lying at the same way, saying you're a drug dealer, they use these same tactics, but they lie about them, attribute off, echoing off of them, which is funny. Once you catch someone complain about those kind of things, it makes you wonder, are they the drug dealer? Are they the stalker? Because I use apps to let them watch me. Anyone watch me in a federal or homestead government mindset? Uh, I are they gonna vote for a concentration camp that's gonna make me a number to everyone else around them, so they get more money off of me being in a concentration camp? And they have a problem with someone talking about this concentration camps when they're already made in this country. They are hardly controlled. There's been concentration camps in every country based on if you have an open border. You have concentration camps. You want an open border, you have bigger concentration camps. You have more people running larger schools of fish, and there are bigger fish. So it's a bigger fish versus a bigger fish, and the smaller fish gets eaten alive if they try saying they're different from anyone else. So everyone's trying to say they all are just whatever whenever this whatever president gets dropped in seat in office, because everything is owned by this today. It's not owned by our own individual mindset and how successful we are. So it's funny how these people are going around tooting on and have annoying perspectives on everyone. But here you go. You have these three people's channels to go watch it and get entertained by them. And either way, it holds you. Yeah. And thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll try to focus on more content over the storms breaking down. So yeah, I just did do that. Like over the storms breaking down, I will try to get myself back in gear because like breaking down the house around me, breaking down the power. I'll try to put myself back in a routine of creativity and content, not drama, entertainment. Because obviously, if you get more drama, you're just trying to create more influx. You're trying to cooperate with the federal and the homestead government system. Whoever's homesteading over your channel, liking your channel, subscribe to your channel, and whoever's federalizing funding you money, which I don't get money off of any of this, because I doubt I will, because no one likes to have a different opinion from anyone else. They want to see my opinions more hostile, even though they've done actions versus opinions. I've had to delegate on how much control I'm allowed to have on what am I allowed to say. So I'm choosing channels that censor me more of these things. So it's funny how people are so upset of someone's opinion, even though they rely on an opinion of echo chambers, which doesn't help anyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this news channel, everybody.